Amani's life did not begin with celebration or joy. It began with quiet rejection. She was barely a month old when her father walked away, his words sharp and final, declaring that the child was not his burden. Her mother stayed for a while, or at least long enough for guilt to grow tired. But one morning, she left Amani at her grandmother's door without explanation or goodbye. That silence became the first wound Amani carried, one that never fully healed. Her grandmother, Nyanya Wairimu, received her with trembling hands and unshaken faith. Life in Nyanya's small house was never easy. Food was measured carefully, school fees were prayed for before they were paid, and clothes were often borrowed or donated. Yet love was abundant. Every morning before sunrise, Nyanya knelt to pray, asking God to give strength where resources were lacking. Amani listened to those prayers and learned early to believe that survival itself could be an act of faith. At school, Amani worked harder than most children her age. She feared failure not because of punishment, but because success felt like the only proof that she deserved space in the world. Teachers praised her intelligence, but praise could not silence the questions that visited her at night. She often wondered why her parents had not wanted her, and though she prayed about it, heaven seemed quiet. Still, she held on, believing that faith did not always speak, it sometimes waited. When Amani was 9, her grandmother fell ill, and childhood ended abruptly. Hospital visits replaced play, and responsibility took the place of innocence. Amani learned to cook, to fetch water quickly, and to stay strong even when fear filled the room. One night, kneeling beside Nyanya's bed, she begged God not to take the only person who had ever chosen her. Nyanya survived, but Amani learned an early truth. Faith did not guarantee safety. It demanded endurance. Just as life began to steady, her mother returned, carrying promises shaped like hope. Despite Nyanya's protests and Amani's tears, she was taken away, not because she was wanted, but because guilt demanded correction. Life with her mother was cold and heavy. A silent stepfather, constant reminders that she was an extra burden, and gratitude demanded for neglect shaped her days. At night, Amani prayed softly, asking God not to look away, even if he did not intervene. Her mother's sudden death shattered what little stability remained. Grief came without warning, and so did blame. Relatives whispered lies, labeling Amani as difficult and troublesome. She was sent to a children's home where loneliness learned a new language, being surrounded by people yet unseen. Her prayers grew quieter, not because she stopped believing, but because asking hurt more than silence. Eventually, Amani was returned to her grandmother, older and wounded. Nyanya welcomed her with tears and hope, whispering that God was not finished. For a short while, peace returned, but it did not last.
An aunt moved in, bringing cruelty masked as discipline. Amani became the scapegoat for every problem, her name slowly losing favor in the village. When Nyanya was involved in an accident, fear settled again, and though she survived, the warmth of protection faded. Nyanya's death during Amani's Form 4 year in the quiet isolation of the COVID season marked the deepest loss. With her gone, Amani stood alone. Relatives turned away, accusations replaced compassion, and no one offered her a home. She buried her grandmother while feeling buried herself, finishing school under the weight of grief. Her results were average, not because she lacked ability, but because sorrow had stolen her focus. Still, she moved forward because stopping felt like surrender. Life became a series of small survivals. Amani worked odd jobs, prayed quietly, and helped others whenever she could, even when it seemed pointless. Many times, kindness returned nothing but regret. She questioned God openly, asking what the point of goodness was when no one noticed or cared. Yet she continued, not because it made sense, but because it was the only way she knew how to remain human. Then came the setback that almost broke her completely. A promise of sponsorship collapsed, a trusted relative disappeared, and with them went her savings and her shelter. Sitting on the floor of her rented room, Amani whispered to God that she no longer understood his plans. Silence answered, heavier than any rejection she had known. And then, on a dusty road beneath an old acacia tree, she saw a coin, 10 shillings, half buried in dust. She almost ignored it, almost walked past, convinced that small things changed nothing. But something inside her, faith bruised but breathing, made her stop. She bent down, picked it up, and carried it with her, unaware that this small, ordinary moment was the quiet turning point heaven had been waiting for.